we are talking about how are these disputes and to be settled, right? In case when there is a dispute with respect to your negotiations, with respect to your payment terms and conditions, delivery terms and conditions, so how are those disputes to be settled upon? So this shall state the very process for the dispute settlement, that is whether the negotiation is to be taken place, arbitration or litigation mechanism is to be adopted. Because if the arbitration is to be used, the country and the place where that will take place will also come into picture, that which is going to be the place or the very country of your arbitration, because in that case the rules of arbitration will apply according to that very country and place of arbitration. So the rule of arbitration that will apply and how the cost of arbitration is to be done will be divided, right. So they will take into consideration that what is going to be the arbitration points and what are going to be the legal or the very jurisdiction of your arbitration. Even if you, when you are just getting an invoice in, let's suppose in India, for any domestic transaction, then also you would see that legal jurisdiction. For example, if you are in Delhi, so it would say legal for in case of any disputes, jurisdiction is to be there to be considered in Delhi only, within Delhi and NCR. So that ways you have to specify the very country and the place where this arbitration is to be used and where it will occur, because accordingly आपको उस country के you have to follow those rules of arbitration, right? How those will be applicable, how that cost of arbitration, because obviously both the parties will incur the arbitration cost, and that how it will be divided, right? And if you are using a litigation framework, then in that case the country and the place where that litigation will take place and the court in which it will be heard. So you can see that we are mentioning about each and every parameter, whether it is litigation, whether it is the payment, so that we are not keeping any any of the ends to be in a very loose manner, because this is how a transaction or a contract is conducted, wherein you are sealing all the corners, wherein you are talking about all the possibilities, wherein you are also taking into consideration the calamities, you are taking into consideration the fluctuations, you are taking into consideration any delays and the corresponding dispute settlement mechanism, either through you decide upon the negotiation between both the parties, or you choose a court for litigation, and what is going to be that court of litigation, you are mentioning that also. And further upon, if you are talking about arbitration, what is going to be the place of arbitration, and what is how the cost will be divided between the parties, and which country's rule will be applicable in case of arbitration. So you are deciding upon each of those parameters in advance, so that when you are signing upon this contract, you are clear upon that in case any breach happens, what is going to be the ramifications of the same, right. Next is, when does this contract become very effective, right. So when we are talking about this effectiveness, we are talking about the conditions or the events under which this entire contract will become effective. For example, contractual signing will take place before the receipt of the advance payment, or it will take place after delivering the goods, right, or getting the custom clearances. So those conditions onto which it is contingent, that we are deciding upon in advance, that किस तारीख से आपका contract effective लागू होगा, right. So those conditions and events we are deciding upon with respect to attaching whatever the number of conditions, and that will state upon on this date, right. It will mention the date and the day and the year respectively when it will become in force. And next is how the timing of the above conditions will affect the contract schedule, because obviously you are having an event in this entire process, wherein you start from the delivery mechanism, and in case advance payment is there, so you received that advance payment, or if the payment is to be based onto consignment basis, so then also you have to be very careful about the number of consignments in the total order, and accordingly the freight and accordingly the payment terms. So the timing of these conditions will affect the contract schedule. So that is why that is also to be very carefully tackled upon. Next is, who will have the title to the goods. So it will say that when you transfer the title to the goods to the customer or to the buyer, whether on the full payment or receiving the in payment on, you could say, partial basis on based on consignment. So when that title to the goods is transferred to your buyer, right, and any other legal requirements or contingent conditions that are applicable in that segment, right. So that also needed to be mentioned upon, that when does that title to the goods gets transferred from the seller to the buyer. Similarly, as we mentioned about the payment, right, that when will the payment be made, or when will the contract be effective. So similarly, we are talking about when will the title to goods will be effective. Next is, what law and languages are to be used in the contract. So that also we need to be very clear about. If there are two countries, one is dealing into a language which is a French, and another one is dealing into a language which is English. So in that case, they need to be very clear about that what languages they are going to be using in the entire dealing mechanism in the contract. So the legal system also that governs that entire contract will also be mentioned upon. So all the laws, the languages, a suitable translation to be provided if yes or not, or any other third language into which this translation is to be provided. So there can be 3-4 copies into different languages as deemed to be fit with both the parties. So accordingly it will be decided upon that how and what sort of languages are to be used in that contract. Next is, how and why those contracts can be cancelled. Now, what do you think could be the probable reason for cancelling a contract, right? Now, pay attention. First is, both the parties have an equal right to cancel the contract. It is not like a superlative condition that only the buyer is having the right to cancel the contract or the seller is having the right to cancel the contract. It is with respect to the conditions that prevails. So if it is the party in default is your buyer who has not made the timely payment, so then the seller has all the rights to cancel the contract because there is non-payment, right. So similarly, when there is late delivery, then the buyer has all the rights to cancel the contract. So the conditions are being attached that we discussed previously. So contingent upon those conditions, both the parties have their respective rights, and that may populate in different conditions, right. Next is, what payment and performance obligation apply to either parties if the contract is cancelled. Now, maybe there could be, the buyer could revoke the contract, or the seller could revoke the contract, but what will be the payment and performance obligations? What if the contract is cancelled? Now, next, what is going to the first step? As I said that in a contract, we are fixing all the corners. We are talking about all the possibilities. So this also needed to be mentioned when deciding upon a contract, that what payment and performance obligations need to be specified in a contract, right. How any loss due to contract cancellation will be defined, how that is to be taken into consideration, what will be the conditions attached to the same, how both the parties are going to proportionately divide upon the losses that is there due to the contract cancellation as you decided upon, even the cost of arbitration. So this also needed to be mentioned when we are talking about the various factors of a contract. Now, since we have talked about the various questions which are there pertaining to your contract of your what, why, how, and when it is to be tackled upon. The next is the summarization part of that what through this discussion comes out to be the essential elements for international sale and purchase contracts. So, what are those essential components of these contracts? Number one is your parties. That means the very crucial first factor is that what all are going to be the parties to the contract. Is there any going to be freight forwarder in the contract, any agent in the contract, any other third party, any other carriage transporter or carriage carrier. So, everything, every parties, it is not just the buyer and seller that you need to mention in a contract, you have to mention about all the freight forwarders if any involved, the carriage carrier ones and the agents one. So, every one needed to be specified into these contracts. If there is a subletting also, then also you need to mention about in that you could say contract. Then you need to mention about the specification of the goods, specification of the goods with respect to the grading, the quality of the goods, the HSN of the good, and the framework, the make of the good is very crucial. Make of the good, if I say let's say upon that you are supplying the chairs. So, for those chairs, what is going to be the make of the wood, what is going to be the quality of the wood, what is going to be the polish of the wood, right, for that chair, and what is going to be the process for fumigation, what is going to be what treatments are you going to use for the fumigation, that is also to be specified. If you are using a heat treatment or you are using a chemical treatment for the same, or as per the ISPM 15 guidelines, so that you need to mention upon, right. So, every specification with respect to the good, whether the good is a flammable one, whether the good is a fragile one, whether the good is somehow you could say if exposed to this temperature can cause any consequences. So, accordingly you need to specify about those goods that you are supplying, right, everything, every basic nitty-gritty with respect to that article, that good needed to be mentioned in the contract. Next is your price. That means the what is going to be the pricing mechanism. This we discussed earlier also. So, this is just I said that the summarization of what needed to be as an essential element. So, price means what is going to be the currency that is to be identified for the exchange mechanism, right. So, what is going to the price and what are going to be the taxes, what are going to be the taxes that are going to be applicable, the rate, everything. The let us suppose if you are one who is a vendor in India, so what is going to be the GST rate, what is going to be the other cess and fee that is going to be applicable in case of the transaction. So, everything you need to mention upon, right. The commission charges, freight charges, brokerage charges. So, any of those charges needed to be mentioned in the contract, right. Then the payment terms, that is what is going to be the method of the payment. Is it going to be an advance payment method? Is it going to be a consignment based one? Is it going to be a LC, right, wherein you need to have those nominated banks, then those confirming banks, so issuing bank. So, then also you need to mention about those confirming bank, that who is going to be the confirming bank in case of LC, who is going to be the nominated bank in case of LC, who is going to be the issuing bank for the LC, and which bank for up to which amount they will be held responsible. Is it a confirmatory LC or is it a master LC or it is a at site LC. So, different method, different again forms of your LC are there. So, which is to be used. So, that also needed to be decided in your payment terms, mention in your payment terms, right. Then is your delivery terms and transportation. So, what are the delivery terms? Who is going to bear the cost of loading and unloading? Who is going to bear the cost of custom clearances? Who is going to bear the cost of insurance? that also needed to be mentioned. Who is going to bear the cost of transportation or any freight forwarder? Any packaging charges are there, any grading charges are there, any assortment charges are there, any warehousing charges are there. So, any ancillary charges which are there with respect to the delivery. So, those terms, those conditions needed to be specified in the contract, because if you specify it into the contract, as I said, that you will be making it binding upon both the parties, right. Next is your transfer of risk. Like, as we discuss upon Incoterms, that what element of the risk is to be borne by your seller and what part is to be borne by your buyer. So, both the parties have to very clearly mention upon the risk that they will be obligated for, right. Is it up to the point of port of entry, or is it going to be the port of your you could say destination or any transshipment port, or is it going to be the point of destination, the very point wherein the goods are being unloaded in a warehouse. So, that ways the risk needed to be specified very clearly. And how do we tackle upon that risk? That insurance parameter, and insurance may be, you need to specify about the coverage that is going to take place in the insurance. So, the coverage is it going to be a basic coverage or is it going to be a full coverage? So, accordingly the charges of insurance would differ, and who is going to bond those charges, right. So, that also needed to be mentioned upon. Then what is going to be the insurance company through whom this insurance coverage is to be taken upon, right, whether it is a marine insurance or any goods insurance. So, all those your elements needed to be mentioned in this, because it also decides upon that what element of the risk is there onto the seller and what element is there onto the buyer, right. Next is your packing and labeling. So, again, packing and labeling, when we are talking about, we have to be very careful whether ISPM 15 guidelines are to be taken into consideration or not. And similarly for the labeling, what in guiding instructions needed to be in what languages, what all languages, whether we need to mention the payment, the price and price in what currency notation, right, or whether the nutritional information. Certain countries make it very mandatory that the labeling should be into this very format. These are the basic elements if you are dealing up into, let us suppose, the food articles. So, then nutritional information has to be there. Let us suppose in India, we need to have the nutritional information when you are sort of importing certain you could say food articles. So, that nutritional information is very crucial. So, similarly other countries would specify that if there is a sugar or if it is good to use for a 5-year-old kid, so then also you need to mention it into your labeling. So, those labeling instructions needed to be very clear upon. The language that is to be used in the labeling, the color which is very crucial in labeling, that is also you need to mention upon which color, because certain countries have an inherent dislike for, let us suppose, the color white, and certain countries are very specific about not using color red or per se any other color. So, you need to be very careful when mentioning the guidelines for packing and labeling also, right. When you are packing it up, that whether the fumigation through your heat treatment is being done or not done, whether ISPM 15 guidelines being used for the wood material, whether the wood quality is more than 6 mm or less than 6 mm. So, all those binding conditions needed to be looked upon, needed to be mentioned before fixating upon that those responsibilities. So, that has to be very carefully taken upon, and when you are mentioning the same into the contract. Similarly, the custom clearance, the onus of the same relays onto whom or which of the parties, whether onto the buyer, onto the seller, who is responsible to get the custom clearances. whether it is the buyer or is it the seller. That seller is taking the entire onus, maybe because he has developed such a ecosystem wherein he is taking care of all the formalities, right from the dispatch to getting the custom clearances at the port of destination, and then making sure it reaches the ultimate warehouse. So that ways custom clearances also needed to be clearly mentioned upon, that what being the documents, and also in case certain documents are exclusively required from the buyer or maybe from the seller, then the contract must specify in detail that what are the documents that are required by both the parties. Similarly, the insurance parameter, that whether the insurance is going to be covering what particular amount, right. So if the coverage is to be extended beyond, then obviously both the parties shall agree upon, they should be in tandem with each other when deciding upon the insurance, and what all things will be covered under the insurance cover, which is going to be the insurance company, how much is going to be the insurance cover, what all elements are covered, is it going to also provide a cover against the natural calamities or not, or the regular damage loss or anything per se for that, and who is going to be the responsible party, that also needed to be mentioned when you are talking about this contract. And then we discussed that the penalties and dispute resolution. So in case there is breach in any of the elements that we discussed upon, what is going to be the penalty, what is going to be the rate of penalty, what is going to be the interest, what is going to be the period for which the penalty is going to be charged, is it going to be a flat rate or is it going to be a flexible depending upon the time period or the amount of the value. And similarly, in case of your dispute resolution, what is going to be the mechanism, negotiation mechanism or your litigation mechanism or arbitration. Then again, as we discussed previously, that what being the court of for litigation, what being the country for the arbitration, and who all will be the parties who will be responsible to bear the loss of arbitration. So that ways each and everything, every nitty gritty details needed to be mentioned in the contract, so that you are sealing all the corners, leaving no space, right. And in case any party commits a default, then in that case they can be directly held responsible, and the cost and the risk associated with the same will be directly transferred to them, right. So these are the binding terms of the, or the clauses of your basic clauses of an international sale and purchase contract, which is very time consuming, which is a very rigorous, very detailed exercise, and that is why you need a skilled people along with who can advise you upon that, okay, what could be the things or the elements that you can actually be careful about, be very careful about. Let's say for your Incoterms, when you selecting the same, be very careful about your payment terms, careful about the labeling instructions, the packing instructions, again the insurance, that the coverage that you are taking up. So all these things are very crucial when you are talking about these terms and these clauses of contracts, because contracts, as I said, is a legally enforced document which will be binding upon both the parties. And mind it, contract once agreed, once signed, cannot be taken back, because again there will be legal consequences of the same. The parties will have to bear the cost of not abiding by the terms and conditions. And if you would just see, there's a number of sample agreements that you can see on online platforms which are there, and which can give you a glance about how these contracts are structured, wherein each and every detailing with respect to the parties that are involved, what being the definition of the parties, what being the insurance, and then to insurance coverage, maybe is there any life insurance to the parties, let's suppose any freight forwarder carriage. So all those cases, whether you are taking a coverage for them also or not. So, all those things will be specified into your contract. Similarly, you will be specifying about the currency that will be used and the bank that will be used for the settling, you know, terms and conditions. Maybe there could be LC, or otherwise LC, in case of your LC you will be having, you know, different sets of banks. They have been confirming, issuing, nominated banks and various other banks that comes into the picture. But let us say there is no LC, but there is a advance payment, then also you need to specify about who is going to be your nominated bank to receive the payment. Both the exporter need to mention about the receiving bank, importer need to mention about through via which bank account, and you know, how the transaction will be settled upon. Similarly, you will be mentioning about the time period within which the delivery will be made, and the you know, consequences in case the delivery is delayed. And also you can put again further conditions that if the delivery is delayed on account of natural calamities, right, maybe there can be a adding clause for the same. So, that those conditions can be very, they need to be very clearly specified into the terms of contract. Similarly, you need to mention about those risk coverages that the contract is going to take care about, and among both the parties how it is to be distributed. What part of the risk is to be borne by your buyer and what part of the risk is to be borne by the seller. And in case if there is a shareable risk with respect to, let us say, your insurance, so what part and how proportionately it will be divided between the two. Similarly, if you are talking about the loading, unloading charges, so how it has to be allocated between both the parties. One has to very carefully, you know, decide upon these terms and conditions, and before, you know, directly getting into a contract, just see about how those contracts take place in the real market, how do they form the contract, just see a lot of sample copies for the same, how that is to be executed. So, if you have any queries, you know, with respect to the same, you can comment upon the video and we'll get back to you, and stay connected. We'll be talking about furthermore topics in the coming sessions. So, thank you very much.